time. The reason why I couldn't tell you, you wouldn't want me to. The meaning is there in the act of the singing. Mine reminds me of the time. You know the time when Snowden spilled his messy secret, way up high in the sky, cold and humid. Well, the sleeping dogs, they lied. They couldn't turn the tide. We knew it was all the moon, but we still don't know if it's blinding or blinging. And your reflections in your mind are mirrors of the time we knew not to face the music. It always reminds us that we're only human. Thank you. And welcome to The Human Show, episode 17. I'm your host, Stephanie Rierick. I do this show at the wonderful Cafe CODA. Thanks to Cafe CODA in wonderful Willie Street, Madison, Wisconsin. I do this show every month. It's an interview and variety show with a different theme. Today's theme is Hope Springs Eternal. And we are featuring 3 generations of the Vetter family. Very excited on interviews, music, and soundtrack. And then also we're starting off with Johan and Elliot playing some music for us. So Johan and Elliot, come on up to the stage. Every month I interview people. We also are looking for a piano recital segment. So musicians, if you ever played piano growing up, we want to hear your go-to pieces and what you play on piano. So, yeah, get in touch with me if you want to be a guest on The Human Show, the 4th Saturday each month at 3 p.m. Central. And up now, Johan and Elliot.
Hello, humans.
Good day. Hey, would you mind darkening the stage just a tad? Appreciate it. Obrigada.
Love that. Yes, the mood.
back to that moment is the only chance for us to do something in order to calm it down and to transform. Most of people don't do that because they're afraid that when they come home to themselves and touch the pain inside, they will be overwhelmed by the suffering. So even if the present moment is unbearable, to go back to that moment is the only chance for us to do something in order to calm it down. Đúng không? Là đi.
Thanks for listening. That's Elliot.
That's Johan.
Elliot plays in a really rad band called the Earthlings, so, they're kind of a situation around here if you haven't seen them yet. So
It's getting weird.
check them out if you haven't.
And if you haven't seen Def Sonic in full Def Sonic mode, that is Johan's name. So if you see that around, check it out. Always the vibes. We just go back and forth. We share each other's information.
So yeah, we got like 1.5 here. Thanks Stephanie, thanks to Human Show, go Saturday. Looks like the sun's out there, so happy Saturday. Go Bucks, go Bucks, go Bucks.
From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom reign. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghanies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Cadence on a line. I'll take. I'll never love. Rest for a while. Cadence on a line. If you love someone you see, if you see someone you love, grab a hold. Cadence on the line. You know someone in need. You need someone you know. Cadence on the line. Seeing more than you want. Seeing more than you need. And I'll sing to you. And I'll sing to you. And I'll sing. And I will sing to you. Cadence on the line. Seeing more
That's it for us.
Thank you, thank you.
That was absolutely beautiful. Let's hear it again for Johan and Elliot. And we're going to bring the vetters up to the stage. I'm going to play, and while we're waiting for that, I'm going to play a little song that represents to me the theme of this set, and it also represents the Yoko Ono quote, "A dream we dream alone is only a dream we dream together is reality." And in the end, you'll know what you wanted to be, and we're all letting go, and we all wait and see. You may believe it could be, we may believe it could too. And we all wait and see, and we all read the truth in the waves of the sea, in the light of the moon. You may believe it could be, we may believe it was true. And we all wait and see, and we all come unglued, and we all make believe, and we all speak the truth. You may believe it could be, we may believe, and it's true. We make believe, we make believe, we make believe. Thank you. That song is called Make Believe, and it's on an album called Everything, Everything. And yes, we'll celebrate when we get there. That's about us getting back to unity with each other and our living planet. So anyhow, speaking of that, we have a number of the Vetter family, but not the entire family. We have a number of family members in the audience, and we want to recognize and appreciate you also for lending us some of your family members here. So we're going to talk with Ash and Barb Vetter, and Micah's going to play music later, but also play us in and out of segments. So I would love to hear your story, how you would like to tell it. You can start where you want to start, and then I'm going to jump in with some questions for you.
I'm going to take a lead from Ash. First of all, is this sound okay? Maybe we have to bring it a little bit closer. What's that? Up? Can you hear me okay now? Okay, okay. I'm going to take a lead from Ash on how to start this out, but not the very first thing. First, I want to do this. Oh, 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 I'm crying because there's so much suffering in this world. I'm crying. I'm leading out, calling out to the world. Help us. There's so many people suffering. So many people suffering. So many people have needs. So many people have needs. Help them. Help us. Help us. Help each other. Please. Please. Now is the time. There is no other time. Let's do it, folks. But what I see here are people who are really beautiful, and a lot of faces I know, and a lot of faces I'm happy to see, and other faces I don't know very well. But thank you all for coming. This is wonderful. Coming on a Saturday afternoon like this, with the sun out like this. Thank you very much. Well, Ash was giving me a lead to say, yeah, we've started out with a cry. We're still crying now. He didn't tell me cry. I did that myself. He's much more positive, I bet.
Oh, well, there's a lot of crying all around our family. There's a lot of difficult things that have been going on, as well as beautiful things. And our story that we want to share is one of passion and love and connection with community. And we've been through a lot over 4 decades. I think, you know, they have their own story that's before Barbara's accident, but I think primarily we're going to be talking about the last 42 years, which is a lot.
It's a long time.
I can't believe that just until recently, I must have blocked it from my memory that the first 4 years or so after Barbara's accident, she had a pretty crazy car accident when I was 4 years old that paralyzed her for life. And I blocked it out of my memory that the first 4 years, it was almost exclusively Luciano, my father, who was taking care of Barbara and also the main caretaker for a young child. I think there's been a lot of repressed things from my childhood that I haven't really fully realized, and that's one thing that really was quite eye-opening, awakening for me, that I had no clue that was the dynamic for the first 4 or 5 years.
You were young.
And then from there were lots of people in and out of our house helping with Barbara's personal cares throughout 4 decades. It's always been challenging. It's become very much more challenging in the last 10 years and extremely challenging since just before COVID and through COVID. It's become very clear that the way that our system is set up to help take care of people who have different needs, whether physical disability, emotional, psychological, and developmental disabilities, the way that our system is set up, it's very difficult for people to get the cares that they need. And so it's become pretty clear that we need to come together as a community and help each other in much more profound ways. And
It's been a long, long time. It's 42 years is a very long time. And it's over half my life that I've been paralyzed, and I still have to come to grips with that every day and deal with it every day. But it's a really tough thing. There's a huge, huge, huge need out there for people to help other people who have disabilities, people who are older, people who just want to remain in their homes, live in their homes with their families, if they have any families, and just be able to live that way and go out in the community and be active people in the community. That's not That's not possible for so many people. Everybody who's looking, have these needs to remain in their homes, not be sent into institutions, not to be sent into nursing homes, not to be sent into assisted living places, not to be sent to hospitals to live because they have no help to help them in their homes. It's so much easier and so much less costly, and everything's so much better if things can be done at home and people can follow more ordinary kind of life and not be stuck away, invisible from the rest of the community and nobody knowing even about them because they're not around. They're not visible. They're not there.
Oh, sorry. Could the two of you describe what it means, like some examples of what it means when someone can't get the cares that they need? I know I found it really eye-opening. A few years ago, we had a workshop about this, and people shared their stories.
I mean, for me, for example, if someone doesn't show up, I'm stuck in bed. I'm not going anywhere because I can't get up. I'm stuck in my bed from the nighttime, and if I don't have someone to help me in the morning, I'm stuck in bed. I'm not going anywhere. And, you know, I had to remind my colleagues about this and everybody when I got onto the council this past time, the last 3 months. That was the situation. You know, if I couldn't, it's fine. I'm going to use Luciano's quote. You know, if the city council meeting building, it happened with me like years ago when I first got on the council in 1995 to 2001. They made it wheelchair accessible in the front of the building. Getting into the building, built the ramp and built they were going to do that anyway, but then inside to make everything accessible for me to go where I needed to go and be where I needed to be, you know, that was all fine and good. But, you know, if I didn't have help that morning, I wouldn't have even made it anywhere. You know, I wouldn't be able to go to city council anywhere, any place. If you're stuck in bed, you ain't going nowhere. So that's the situation. If you're stuck, you're not going anywhere. And same at nighttime. Then you can't go to bed at night because there's no one there to help you. And then throughout the day, people have all sorts of different kind of disabilities, and depending on what needs they have, they aren't getting those done. You know, my health is going downhill because I'm not getting the cares I need. But I'm lucky because I still have a husband. But you know, it's extremely, extremely rough for him. He should be on this stage too with us because his story is a big, huge story of taking care of, doing caring for, and this has been relentless for the last 42 years. It takes a toll. It takes an enormous toll on someone, a person, on a couple, on a family, to be able to continue to do these things without any help from the outside. I used to have help from the outside in the very beginning. It's no longer there because there's no one there to help me or help my friend or help my neighbor because there's no staff to go out. And you talk to agencies who are supposed to help out with this, they don't have staff to send out to people's homes. It's gone. There's vacancies. And how to find people? That's the enormous, enormous task. How do you find people? When I was on the city council back in 1995 for 6 years until 2001. They just called me back this time. I got on the council in January, and I just left this past week. It was my last day. It was just a 3-month gig, but I was willing to do it because there wasn't anyone else there. But I knew I could do it because I did it the first time. It was much, much more difficult this time. So much more difficult. Things have changed in a negative way. And I can talk more about that in a minute, and that's why I put together this resolution that was calling on the city of Madison. Since I was on the council, that's where I could go to develop a comprehensive response to the crisis in home health care in Madison. And that's what I did, from point zero, nothing, to having it pass on the council floor 3 weeks ago. That was it. Thank you. And it went from point zero to that. And now the city's on record of needing to help find solutions for us, together with us. So I'm going to let Ash talk a little bit more if he wants to, but I have much more to say.
And
Don't worry. It's a threat.
A lot of those solutions should be coming from higher levels of government, obviously, but we've been in this position where the state and the feds aren't really doing the things that they should be in this regard. So, Barbara, we felt that it was important to get the city to be working in whatever capacity possible. There's some absolute no-brainer things, in my mind at least, certain things that the city could be doing, providing bus passes for people who do this kind of work, and helping with childcare and helping with outreach too, because one of the things is just getting connected to the people who would potentially be doing this kind of work. And so reaching out to the universities, reaching out to communities that are immigrant communities coming into town who are looking for work. There wasn't really a concerted effort, and we thought that the city would be able to help with that cause. Oh, I'm not loud enough. Okay. Yeah.
Somebody back there saying louder.
So the city resolution, one aspect of this, I feel like with my perspective on how cares have been taking place in our family, in our household, I feel like probably there's never gonna be a time when agencies are going to fill all of the gaps. And so I felt that it would be very important to set up a mutual aid network of some sort, of CARES program, getting people connected who want to do little things, but very important things for people who have needs, and do it on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And when you have enough people pooled together that are deciding to do this, then suddenly you're able to fill in those gaps that would make the difference between somebody not having a meal potentially, if there's nobody there to cook for them. And so there's a thing going on this Tuesday, right?
Yes, there is. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So even thinking about higher levels of government providing this, yes, I wish that our needs were even cared about at those levels, and at the same time, having seen the different solutions that often get put forward at that level, like institutions and things like that, I'm really interested in the things that we can do as do-it-ourselves things. So we are all going to have a workshop about setting up mutual aid networks for care and health. There's a whole model that happened in Pennsylvania, and we'll actually be joined by some of the people who ran it, which was it was run from a hospital. It was a time bank where people exchanged time instead of money. It was based in a hospital, and when there were people who used the hospital services a lot, they would set up a care team around them, and people would just provide some transportation, food and medicine pickup, some help at home, some of the light things. And then there are things that people need to be licensed for. We can create a situation where we help people get licensed. We could create situations where, I know that one of the problems that agencies have with recruiting, so first of all, recognizing that the great resignation has happened with all kinds of jobs everywhere. And so think how much worse it is in agencies that already had a hard time getting people because the pay is low, because it's very difficult for them to economically swing pay enough. And often it's difficult work. And if you can break up the difficult work and have more people do it among other work that they also find enjoyable, I think it's really time to, there's so much cooperative expertise in this neighborhood and in this city. There's so much lip service, and a lot of times it's genuine on our local government, on the part of them to want to meet people's needs. So I think it's time to really move in some different ways and see about structuring differently, but it feels like people are ready. I remember, so we had a workshop to talk about this maybe 5 years ago, I think, and sorry that we didn't keep the trajectory going, but a lot of things have happened since then, and it's a good time to pick it back up. But then that was the time I found it really eye-opening. I think your friend Karen was at that workshop, but that's when I was hearing about people couldn't get out of bed, or they couldn't get in bed, or couldn't eat because someone doesn't show up. So what do we do? What has happened since then? I would love to hear your perspective, Barb, if you want to talk about what was harder on the city council so we can like recognize a bit of the problems we're facing and go into how we can create our own solutions.
Well, I found going into the city council this time, second time around, much different than the first time. And the first time around, people were getting together, people were talking, people were discussing, people were brainstorming together. There was a lot of interaction. This time around, I found it woefully not that way. Everything's being done virtually. There's no hands-on, really, to speak of in any way. I found it to be a very lonely place, to tell you the truth. And lonely place, and not being able to connect and really connect with people because everything was being done over the computer. And I found that to be very lonely and hard and difficult, and not being able to work together interpersonally. It was rough. It was a shock to me, actually, how disconnected everyone was from each other. And so that was a really big impairment, a barrier there. And people are a little bit also very spread thin, and I think there's just not the depth of feeling of what we can do as a city for all sorts of things. That depth, I feel like the depth of meaningfulness and all that is not there, not like it was before. So it was difficult for me. And I'm glad I had something I was working on so hard, because that took every minute of every day of, not really every minute, but took an enormous amount of time to do that and have that happen in 3 months' time. So, but it was difficult. I felt really alone, with help from my husband, from Luciano, help from Esh. But it's a lonely place out there. And things have to come together better. We have to be more interactive with each other to really have meaningfulness happen. And so I found that to be a big barrier. But
I'd like us to take a moment and recognize that you got back on the city council for a second time for 3 months, in spite of everything else, and maybe some because of everything else going on, and you went and accomplished more than a lot of people accomplished their whole political career. Woo!
well, thank you for all that. I worked my butt off, that's for sure. I really worked my butt off. But, it was for something that was very important to me, but also important to all the other people in the Madison area that who have disabilities and are older. You know, it's extremely important because you can't live unless you have the help to get you ready to be able to live and lead an ordinary life in the community. You need the help. It's extremely serious, extremely much of a crisis. It's a real crisis. Go anywhere, try to find help through an agency. No one's there. They have no one to send out to help people. No one.
And then it falls on the family, if there is family. We're in a position where we do have support, from family members. We had a very eye-opening experience 4 months ago. When did your back get really, really bad? I mean, it's so
2 months ago.
3 months. Yeah, right around the time that Barbara got on the council, he was out of commission.
He couldn't move.
Bedridden for 2 weeks almost.
He was crawling on the floor. He couldn't walk because his back got all messed out.
And so then I was there helping almost daily for a week, 2 weeks. If that wasn't the case, then maybe something would have happened similar to our friend Karen Fox Grover, who was forced to live in the hospital because her caregivers, she didn't have care. She went into the hospital for something, and then her caregivers quit or something. You know the story better. What happened with Karen?
She was getting help, and then she wasn't getting help, and then she wasn't getting help, and then she wasn't getting help. She was going from agency to agency with no results, nobody to come out and help her, and she kept looking. She's a determined, strong woman. She wasn't just giving up, but as of yesterday, I think she lost her apartment because she was trying so hard to find people to help her. She never was able to. Before that, she went to live in the hospital. She's not sick. She wasn't having any surgery. There's nothing wrong with her except she didn't have help. And for that reason, she didn't have any help getting in her apartment. She kept looking. She ended up in a hospital because that's the only place that would give her the help and cares that she needed to be able to survive, to live each day. And she's not sick. Nothing's wrong with her. She lives in a hospital. Can you imagine that? Living in a hospital only because you can't get up, you can't do things. That's where she is. And I think she just lost her apartment because she had until yesterday but she's been working on this forever. It wasn't just a short-term thing. I'm going to go visit her because I haven't seen her since she's been living there. It's a terrible situation. Nobody should be put through that kind of thing. But you were talking about...
So our eye-opening experience of what it would be like without a permanent person living in your home helping, and not having a family member, then it would have been a totally different experience. There are a lot of people who have more difficult scenarios than we do, and we're struggling. So we really do need to come together as a community and find creative ways that we can help in any which way.
And the city needs to help too. I mean, we need to help. The community needs to help, but the city really needs to jump in and do something now that this resolution has been passed. It's on record for doing this, having a comprehensive response. I always struggle to find that word. Comprehensive response to what is going on, what the situation is here and now in Madison. So maybe we can have a little bit of comic relief with Micah playing a little bit. I mean, we've been talking
very
a lot.
somber.
But you know what? If you ever,
Gotta lighten it up.
At any point, if you want to yell out something that you think would be pertinent or helpful or ideas or whatever, please do so. I want this to be interactive, not just us talking up here forever and ever.
Well, I think a beat reading of the resolution would be cool with some drums and a bit of a beatnik thing from you.
Well, I don't think you want to hear the whole resolution, but
Maybe tell us a few highlights.
yeah. Well, Mike, are you ready to jump in here a little bit? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. Ba-bum. Over 18,000 people with disabilities sought and were denied services. That's in the state of Wisconsin. This problem is the state of Wisconsin. But it's also the state, all the states around the country. There are people stuck. Stuck. Thank you, Micah. But there's now a working group that has been established as part of the Disability Rights Commission. There are 2 people from the commission, along with myself. I'm still stuck there, even though I had to get off. Even though I got off the city council, I'm still stuck in that group to work on the solutions, have the city work on solutions and improvements to help us in this situation of dire need. So that's what's happening now. People want to be involved. You can connect with me about that. But yeah, we're working on what the city can do now and actually have some things be able to be worked on and implemented now. So that's where that's all at.
And what can individuals do? So if someone's not licensed to give home care, but they want to help out, what kinds of things could you use, or some of our other members who've been looking for care teams?
Well, you know, nobody has to have any kind of degrees or a certification or anything like that. Hi, Randy. Nice to see you. Any training or certifications or anything. People can just be very interested in doing the job and very interested in helping another person with their cares, and that's all that's required. Because the work that you'd be doing, I've trained so many people, and Luciano's helped out too, to train people, and it can be done with no experience before. So you don't really have to have anything, you know, prerequisites or anything like that. It's ready. It's ready for you. You're ready for it if you're ready for it. So.
And what about people who might not be able to help with lifting or might not feel comfortable with personal care? Can people sometimes cook or clean or drop stuff off, run errands?
That can always be done, although that part of my life is taken care of a lot more easily than the rest of it. It's really the personal cares that are needed. But yes, I mean, I'm getting help through senior helpers as well, and that helps out in the afternoons to do things that are not personal cares. But so all that is very, very helpful, and there's always something that can be done with those aspects too, stuff of having people help out in those ways, especially on the weekend because there's less people around on the weekends. Yeah.
So right after this show, we have a party that the Madison Mutual Aid Network is hosting. So we called it Mutual Aid Network because we wanted the acronym the MAN, because we want to be the new the man. So you could have a great life working for the new the man, doing some care work for people, doing some creative work, helping create clean energy for your neighborhood, make a beautiful community. So I will encourage you, if you can't stay, there's information about that in the back, and we have a workshop on Tuesday, but you don't have to come to that. But sign yourselves up for what you want to do in a health and care network, and also think about how it can support you. We actually also, we're built from time banking. We do a lot of time banking. We do a lot of sharing because we want to reduce our dependency on dollars. And we also deal with dollars. We also have a common fund that's about funneling dollars around to people who need it. And that also can be used to create a livelihood for people in dollars who need it. And create a different kind of situation, again, where someone can do some care work, but some other kinds of work and be able to start the whole economy needs to adapt to new circumstances and how people want to work and are no longer willing to work, and the changing needs of our society. We have another member who's getting older and who used to contribute a lot in the time bank who's looking for help around the house now. So it's a great time to jump in and see what you can do to support your neighbors and get support.
And that way people can, instead of surviving, I mean, I feel like barely on the edge, and all the other people I know, barely on the edge, about to fall off. And so we're just surviving at this point. But, there's no reason, there is no reason. We need to thrive, not just survive, but thrive. And, if we thrive, we can give back to the community. And that's what I want to do. That's what I did in the city council for 3 months. But we need to be able to get over just surviving and be able to thrive. And then we can do things together in the community. I can do more of my skills of singing or music. We can do more, be able to meet with people and discuss things that are important if you're able to get out and do so. You can be doing dancing. You can be doing all sorts of things. Being able to read, go to the library and help out there. There's so many ways just to have a more normal way of life than, just thinking about trying to get up for the day and go to bed at night with help. It's a time for us to thrive, not just survive.
All right, that sounds like another way we could say it is more rock, less talk. So let's turn it over to Micah now. Thank you so much. Thanks tremendously. And now we're going to have music from third generation Micah Vetter.
He's awesome.
Do you want to play them on the stage?
I'm just going to do a quick sound check.
Okay, great.
Check, check, check. Hello. Is this good hearing? Can you hear this well? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Does it sound good with the drumming? Like, is it hearable with the drumming?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, this song is called It's Easy Now. It's an original song. I made it. And, yeah, so I hope you enjoy it. It's easy now. It's easy now. But don't forget this. I wish I missed this. But no one should know. Sound of stifling footsteps around us. It's easy to you and the both of us. I don't understand why. right now. Let's do it. Thank you. All right. Cafe CODA. Now I'm going to effects. Now I'm going to be doing some looping and some synth and a little bit of singing. And yes. No. All right. All right. I'm also going to be doing a bit of beatboxing, just a tiny bit. I'm not as good as I was a little while ago, but might be a bit embarrassing. All right. People don't scare me anymore. Scare myself. Now I'm whole. Now I'm whole. I'm in the game. I couldn't hold fluid. But so, we don't it's so slow now, sure, so natural. No, not anymore. Ooh, I'll go. Find another 2 homes. It house I'm living in. As I fall, they try to save me. Oh. although they try to save me. All of the branches of the tree as a people don't scare me anymore. I scare myself. I'm whore. I'm in the game I shouldn't have played. A picture skateboarding down a hill. Ooh, people don't scare me anymore. I scare myself. People don't scare me anymore. I scare myself. Thank you. And that's it for me right now.
That was so cool. I want to give one more round of applause to all our guests, all the vetters, Barb, Ash, Micah, and Luciano, and Elodie, and Maddie for everything that you do also, not on stage. Thanks to Joe for sound. Thanks to Cafe CODA and Jan and Hannah. And come here all the time because it's a fantastic place. There's a tip jar. There's a GoFundMe. And you can stick around for a little party after. There are snacks. And go ahead and sign up on the Mutual Aid Network sign-up sheet if you have to leave. And I'm just going to play us out with our theme music. To show that all I know I couldn't tell you, you wouldn't want me to. The meaning is there in the act of the same.